Hi everyone, my name is Nonkululeko Mbele, and by now you know that we are about to get labor smart with Rich Auntie. So, if ever you do have any questions, remember that the email address is provided below, and you can send an email, and we'll definitely consult with you right after that. Kindly please just send the link to your friends and family because we are here to learn, we are here to educate one another, and most importantly, we are here to get labor smart. Let's get down to it. So, today we will be talking about dismissal due to incapacity in the workplace, right? It is important for us to note that we have temporary and permanent incapacity in the workplace, and we're going to start off by talking about temporary incapacity in the workplace. So, before we go any further with this, remember that after all, we are all human and we can sustain injuries or become ill, whether in the workplace or outside the premises of the workplace. However, one way or the other, this is going to affect how we perform in our workplace. All right, so let's talk about temporary incapacity. Okay, so now the code of good practice provides that if the employee's illness or injury is of a temporary nature, the employer will have to look for alternatives and also consider the following things, right? Firstly, the employer will have to consider the nature of the employee's work, the period of illness. Thirdly, the seriousness of the injury or illness, and lastly, whether or not they will have to find a temporary replacement for you. All right, so now obviously in this case, unfortunately, people have made it a habit of misusing their paid leave, and you find that within the 3 years you are out of your paid days, right? Now it's gonna be a big thing whether or not you get paid or not. But however, if it happens that the illness or the injury that you have sustained, you sustained it in the workplace, then you can claim under COIDA. Let's say, for example, Nguli works at XYZ Mining, and I happen to work underground and I sustain an injury um, in the workplace while I'm performing my duties and I break my leg. Fine, then my employer XYZ Mining will have to consider the 4 points I made mention of. And if it happens that I'm going to take a long period to recover and get healed from this injury, then XYZ Mining will have to find a temporary replacement for me. And I personally can claim from COIDA because I sustained this injury in the workplace, right? But if ever it happens that I got injured outside the workplace, my employer will still have to consider the 4 points I made mention of. But unfortunately, I will not be able to claim from COIDA because I did not sustain this injury in the workplace. That is your temporary incapacity in the workplace. All right. Now, if it happens that your incapacity is more permanent, um, things are going to be quite different in the workplace. In this case, the code of good practice notes that the employer must consider these two alternatives before resorting to terminating your employment contract. Okay, so the employer will then see whether or not they can give you an alternative job that you are going to be capable of performing, or they able to adjust your duties, right? They need to consider all these things, and if these two alternatives are not possible, unfortunately, um, termination of the employment is the best solution for the employer. Okay, now let's say, for example, Nkuli still works at XYZ Mining, and I sustain an injury where unfortunately I'll have to lose my leg. I'm sorry for the extreme example, but it's the best one that came to mind. So I lose my leg. More permanently, I won't have a leg, and my leg will have to be amputated. Cool. Now, my employer will have to consider these two alternatives, right? Whether or not they are just my duties, or they can offer me an alternative job within the company that I will be able to perform. So, if there is a vacancy in the office where I can still perform certain duties, or there are duties that I can perform because my skill set allows me to do it, my employer, XYZ Mining, will have to offer me that. And if ever there isn't, then I'll get my contract will be terminated. Okay? So, in this case, it is quite easy for an employee to say their dismissal was rather unfair, but the employee will have to prove that they have considered all the possible alternatives, and unfortunately, there's not a single job that you can perform in the workplace, and therefore they'll have to terminate your contract. This is dismissal due to incapacity in a nutshell. In a nutshell. So, if ever you do have any questions, and maybe you want me to make something clearer, kindly just comment below or send an email, and I'll be more than happy to clarify this for you. Um, I'm looking forward to the next series. We are done with the series of dismissals in the workplace. And next week, we are starting on something new. I can't wait to start with it. And I'm looking forward to seeing more engagements with you. Thank you so much for your time. Kindly please share with your friends. And let's see each other again next week, Wednesday. Thank you.